right. Well, perhaps if we just start with you sort of introducing yourself, what you do, and how long you've been at Pitt and Sherry, that'd be good.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm Jessica. I'm a senior environmental consultant at Pitt and Sherry, and I've been with Pitt and Sherry for 3 years. When I came into Pitt and Sherry, it was as part of a merger from KMH Environmental, and that is sometimes a very difficult process, but has been a pretty smooth ride with Pitt and Sherry, and it's been really interesting to come into an organisation with a larger range of skills and services for engineers, which we didn't have when we were just an environmental consultancy.
Great. So can you tell us a little bit more about your role and what you do day to day?
Sure. So this is like that thing that goes around on Facebook where it's like what my mum thinks I do and what my partner thinks I do and what, no one ever really understands day to day, do they? But I think for the most part, as environmental consultants, it's about providing advice to our clients on how to manage environmental risks. And that can be within a particular framework, such as a legislative requirement or a corporate requirement, or it might be more about sustainability and corporate goals around improving their environmental impact or reducing their environmental impact. So for the most part, my role is in the planning and approval space. So we work with a variety of government departments and developers on undertaking environmental assessments for projects. So that might be a car park or a solar farm or a railway line. It's a pretty varied bag of projects, and the assessments that we do range dependent on the scope of the project as well. So it might be a small document that outlines where the project's going to be and some of the existing environmental conditions, or it might be an encyclopedia-length document for some of the big state significant projects that we work on, which talks about all the various environmental aspects that may be impacted by that development. So that is the type of work we do. My day-to-day is actually more project management. So my role as a senior consultant takes on a slightly less technical focus, and so a lot of the time I'm talking on the phone, I'm making sure budgets are on track and making sure we're on time with our project delivery and talking to clients and also looking for new opportunities and new work for us to bid on.
Awesome. So you mentioned before that you were brought in after the merger. How do you work with other departments? Can you give us an example of perhaps where you've used other expertise in a project sense?
Absolutely. So I think that's one of the really great things about Pitt and Sherry is that we can offer services for the full life cycle of a project or business operation, and we have people who work in various stages of a development, and that's certainly been a really great thing to be a part of, because it means you're talking to somebody you know and trust, somebody that you work day to day with side by side, rather than another sub-consultant or another specialist in another office, potentially somewhere else in Australia on a project. So that's been really great in the sense of feeling that trust and working relationship. So an example is we were working on the development of an organic recycling facility in regional New South Wales for a local council, and we had people involved from the concept stage right through to the construction of that project. And so as the project manager for that project, I liaised with engineers in the Melbourne office and environmental consultants in the Newcastle office and specialists down in Tasmania, and it was a really great project in terms of bringing in each of those disciplines and delivering something really great for the client. So that has been a great value add. So not only can I now say we can help you with your environmental approval and prepare some management plans for you, but I can also get our team over in Melbourne to help you with your concept design, and then our team in Tasmania can help you with this other component. And so we are able to be that single source of advice and professional services for a client, almost a one-stop shop. There's certainly always some niche or specialist requirement that comes up in a project that we will need to get specialists in for, but more and more I'm finding that Pitt & Sherry collectively can provide a lot of great services to our clients, and our clients are happy with that because they only have to deal with one project manager and one service provider, and know that they're going to get the great outcomes they've already been getting on a variety of disciplines. So the other great thing is, from a personal perspective, I get to learn a lot more about those other disciplines. And so I'm certainly no engineer, and we won't go into the environmental versus engineering discussion because it's a whole other discussion, but I've learnt certainly a lot about engineering in a very short period of time so that I can help join the dots with the clients on services we can provide.
Awesome. So, you're in your office and, it's obviously a lot smaller than some of the other offices. What do you feel about the culture of Pitt & Sherry? I know it's obviously a little bit difficult to answer, but just in terms of your engagement on the phone and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so I'm in a unique situation. About 15 months ago, I was working out of the Sydney Pitt & Sherry office, had been there for a couple of years, and for family reasons needed to relocate. That relocation was to Wagga Wagga in regional New South Wales, and Pitt & Sherry were extremely accommodating and helpful in enabling me to do that and keep working. So I currently work 4 days a week, and that has been from home for the most part. However, recently we have established an office here in Wagga, and we've employed a graduate here in Wagga as well. So it's gone, in a 15-month period, it's gone from someone from the Sydney office moving to Wagga and working from home, and I was just doing the same thing I was doing in Sydney but remotely, to actually working with regional clients and delivering projects on a local level, and then getting a graduate in because we had the workload there, and had clients in the regional areas that were wanting the services that Pitt & Sherry can provide with a local face, someone on the ground. So it's been a really, really cool story from that perspective. And I don't think that would have been possible with every consultancy that's out there. It certainly takes a unique employer to enable you to walk into the office one day and say, look, this is my personal situation. I don't want to stop working for Pitt & Sherry, but I can no longer be here. I need to be over here. And the support I've been provided remotely has been amazing, and it's enabled me to address some personal circumstances which meant I needed to relocate while continuing my career and working somewhere where I wanted to work. And I don't, some weeks wouldn't even notice that I am not in an office full of people because of all the great technology that we have, talking on Skype for Business, collaborating using Microsoft Teams. All of those tools help us to not really feel very isolated. So now at the Wagga office of 2 people, has its own office and space, and we are able to collaborate really easily with all the other offices through those digital technologies, as well as obviously, travel sometimes for particular projects. And the great thing about that is if you can tie it in with meeting and working with some of our colleagues in the other offices, that's a great thing as well.
Awesome. So what do you see ahead for Pitt & Sherry in the next 5 years? Like, you've obviously seen a bit of regional growth by having you on the ground. What do you think clients are going to be looking for and asking for?
I think it's absolutely going to be focused on providing the full life cycle service, and some of those niche areas that we operate in, such as the moving plan, engineers, our bridge inspectors, and some of our environmental specialists that work in areas that aren't a service delivered by every consultancy. I think people are more and more coming across tricky problems. It's not that every day to day, they're coming across tricky problems within their operations or their development, and they're needing that expert advice. And I think that's really absolutely an area where Pitt and Sherry will flourish, but within the construct of that whole life cycle. I think that where we do best is delivery for our clients. All our clients are happy with the service they're provided because we are client focused. And I often hear, as an outcome of a project, feedback around that from our clients. So one of the great experiences they had in working with us was our focus on them and what they needed. And that's not something that they've always had when working with consultants. So I think it's kind of a mix of all of those things as we are on the journey to becoming a high-performing organisation, and we are continuing to grow in size to be the right size for our business. And those things will mean that we will have really good relationships with key clients in key sectors around Australia, delivering really good life cycle and niche services.
Awesome.
A little bit of work with Melinda. And this is a little bit about my own personal career. So I'm trying to have more opportunities to be in management and leadership roles and tasks. And so I've been working with Melinda on who is the New South Wales Environment Team? How do we market ourselves? This is internally, so that we are joined, the dots are being joined so that engineers are going out there and saying, hey, we've actually got environmental consultants that can help you with that. And one of the ways that we've been thinking it would be best to market it is on that life cycle. So saying, okay, up the top here are all the tasks you do for this client. Say a bridge is a really easy way of looking at it. So here's all the things that you do for a client on a bridge. You do your concept design, your detailed design, blah, blah, blah. And then aligning the environmental services that we can provide along that program, along that timeline, so that they understand when they get to that point, or when they're talking to a client about concept design, they can sneak in the, oh, and our environmental consultants can do a preliminary assessment for you or a fatal flaw analysis. But yeah, it's about having it, I suppose, getting that appetite up so that it's information that they can take on board and actually use. So I had a really interesting experience. It was the end of last year. We did a tender for a local council here near Wagga. It was an engineering panel, but I did the tender from a strategic kind of Wagga perspective. Oh, sorry, I led it. I didn't write any of this technical stuff. I went to a tender meeting with the council, and that was a really interesting experience for me because it made me realise I actually don't know as much as I thought I did about what Pitt and Sherry can do, particularly from that engineering perspective. So I feel more than comfortable around our environmental capability, but when it came to talking specifics beyond, oh yeah, we've got an engineering team, oh, we've got guys that do bridges and hydrology and moving plant and, you know, amusement rides, beyond talking like buzzwords, I actually really didn't know a lot. That came across well in a meeting, you know. So that was a real key learning for me last year, to go, okay, if my focus or a lot of my time is going to be around business development, it is going to be talking to clients about what Pitt and Sherry can offer, I need to know what everyone can do. And I think we had some sessions at the end of last year, I think they might have been the culture sessions, and we were talking about how actually, if we are going to have a good culture, we need to understand what it is that people do in their day-to-day. And instead of lunch and learns that are on like a really specific topic, and well, lunch and learns are on Wednesdays. I don't work Wednesdays, so I've never gone to one, so I couldn't tell you whether they're good or bad, but actually having teams present on who they are, what they do, in a way that is, and this is the service that we could be providing your clients as a value add. And another point we made at that point was, you know, when you're submitting a proposal, there should be a standard section that says, other services we can provide to you. And it can't be just blah, blah, blah. It needs to be tailored to that client. So as part of writing a proposal, you need to talk to some of your other colleagues and say, could you provide services to this client? What would they be? I'll write them into the proposal. And that's that joining the dots, I guess. That's kind of certainly where I feel that joining the dots terminologies come from. It's actually internally saying, are we all selling each other or are we only going in there selling ourselves? So yeah,